call the Litchfield Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting to order at 7 p.m. Just go through and for attendance. John, if you want to start.
John Brunel, member.
Laura Gandia, member.
Jerry Sorensen, alternate.
Jeff Blackwell, building inspector.
So I'm going to appoint you as a full member.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And first thing I want to do is approve our meeting minutes from March. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the March CBA meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes 3-0-0. And the first case on the agenda is case number 221-2022-2, a variance from LZO Article 800, Section 801, to allow temporary parking to support Spooky World events and outside storage and storage containers, trailers to support Mel's Funway Park and Spooky World. This case was continued from the 2/21/22 meeting. The name of the applicant and owner of the property is Whitney Realty Trust. The location of the property is 443 Charles Bancroft Highway, Litchfield, New Hampshire, map 20, lot 14. We did receive a request from attorney Andrew Perlman on April 15th. The Whitney Realty Trust withdraws its pending variance application in order to use 443 Charles Bancroft Highway as a temporary parking lot to support Mel's. We have to file an additional variance request as well as a wetland special exception application. Those applications will be forthcoming along with the pending application being resubmitted. I considered a continuance request, but the board has already granted me one continuance, and it is not fair for the board or neighbors to repeatedly reschedule a case. Please call with any questions. So that application has been withdrawn. So the next case is case number 221-2022-1, and there's several for this particular property. Case number 418-2022-1, and case number 418-2022-2, and case number 418-2022-3. The name of the applicant and owner of the property is Thoreau Developments LLC. The location of the property is 522 Charles Bancroft Highway, Litchfield, New Hampshire, 03052, map 22, lot 11. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 applications for this property. I have to recuse myself, so that only leaves 2 members, so we do not have enough to move forward with that. So those cases, Attorney Perlman, would you want those to be heard in the May meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so those cases, I just want to get the right date. So that will be the May 16th meeting. So those cases will be heard on the May 16th meeting, and I apologize for that.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. The next case is case number 418-22-5, a variance from LZO Article 1025, Section 1026, to encroach 1 feet 3 inches into the 25 building setback from a private road. Name of applicant is Joel and Martha Ackerman, and they are also the owner of the property. The location of the property is 17 Jamesway Drive, Litchfield, New Hampshire, 03052, map 1, lot 112. Do you need a copy of it?
I got a copy.
You want a copy?
I have it. Thank you.
All right, so
Let me borrow your copy. Mine's a little weak. There you go.
and this case is based on a zoning provision that is no longer in effect. I believe it was part of the elderly housing zoning that has been repealed. Who will be presenting?
Myself, Joel.
And if you just want to mind introducing yourself, your name and address, please.
Sure. Joel Ackerman.
And before you continue, we only have 3 members. Typically, we have 5. So if you want to proceed, you need to have all 3 of us in agreement. So you have to have a vote of 3 concurring members to have your variance application granted. If you want, you can continue it until the May meeting, where you may have 5. Do you wish to continue with 3?
I would like to continue with the 3 that are present.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry about that little interruption.
That's okay. Thank you, Chairperson Ms. Gandier. My name is Joel Ackerman, 17 Jamesway Drive, Litchfield, New Hampshire. I don't know if it's appropriate to give you letters of support now, or...
It's your presentation, however you want to do that.
Oh, okay. All right, let me pass these out to the members. This is an original copy for yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So we've never applied for a variance, but Mr. Blackwell has been very helpful and supportive of explaining to us the different process. And basically, we moved into Annandale on the river in September, and we have an existing deck to the right of the house that is adjacent to the road, and it measures 8 feet 3 inches by 12. Distance from the house to the edge of the deck, and along the side of the house it's 12 feet. We would like to make it bigger so that it can accommodate more than 3 or 4 people, and we'd simply like to remain in the limited common area and expand it to 8 feet 3 inches, the same distance along the side of the house, to 25 feet long. And when completed, it would basically encroach upon the setback right away to Jamesway Drive by 1 foot 3 inches. We felt the variance is not contrary to the public interest because of the encroachment is rather minor, and that the addition will keep with the character and the use of the residence. We felt that the spirit of the ordinance is continued to be observed because the encroachment is minor, and there's ample space between the properties already, the abutting properties. The purpose of the ordinance, of course, is to maintain separation. Substantial justice is done because no harm is done to the general public or to others in the community, including the abutters, and the variance would avoid a hardship. During the time that we applied for the building permit, originally, Mr. Blackwell, the town building inspector, explained to us that we can't go further into the area to the back side of the house, which is understandable. That is adjacent to a conservation area. So he said we have to maintain that continued distance, or we could apply for a variance that way, but we just decided to keep it simple and approach the way we're doing it now. We feel that the values of the surrounding properties are not going to be diminished in any way because it's going to be a well-done expansion by a reputable local builder, and that it will increase the value of our home as well as the surrounding properties. And then one of the other factors that I had to meet was the literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship because the deck simply is too small to accommodate, as I was telling you earlier, more than 3 or 4 people. The location of the expansion is within the boundaries of the limited common area and will not impede the community in any way. The deck width will remain static as not to expand the deck to be out of character with the neighborhood. The deck will not encroach upon any wetland setbacks, as I mentioned earlier, and the deck, when complete, will be consistent with the other properties in the neighborhood. In speaking to different professionals, there is nobody to the right of us except across the street. So the only setback that we're violating here is the setback to the actual road. So I thought it was fairly reasonable approach, and I do have a letter of support that I passed out to all the members here tonight. Ms. Gandier, I gave you the original. It's from the president of the Annandale Condo Association, Ralph Collins, and I'll let you read it individually, but they are in support of what we're trying to accomplish here, and I think we're in pretty good shape. Can I answer any questions, or did I?
Let's see, does anybody have any questions?
I'm just trying to understand from the sketches. It shows the house it's kind of like the deck's over here, and you're sort of like filling in the space back to the house. Is that what I'm?
That is,
Yeah.
In the kind of
Right. Yeah.
here's the house, and it kind of comes here. There's a deck out here. You're just sort of filling in this space right here.
that's affirmative.
Yep.
Exactly right.
Okay.
So I'm assuming this is
Oh,
your house, right?
yes, ma'am.
Down this way, right?
So,
I have this little picture.
I have this. Well, because I was trying to figure out the sketches too, so you don't mind if I show these to the
Please
board?
do, please do,
Okay.
yes.
Do you want to explain from these?
So the picture in your right hand is looking at our house straight in from a side road off of James Way Drive. And you will see it's two-car garage on the left, the front door is to the right, and off to the side of the house, on the right-hand side, is the deck towards the back of the home. And it basically goes out, there's a jog to make the kitchen a little larger in the front, but it's towards the back of the house, and it goes 8 feet 3 inches by 12 feet, and there's an additional 13 feet from the edge of there to the jog, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I think that gives you a good visual.
So
So that's the 25, so you wanna take the deck to the jog.
Yeah.
you want to move it this way?
So you're not changing the
I'm not
bump out?
changing the
Okay.
distance of the bump out, correct.
So it's just going to be going like a straight line, in theory, across, so it's not coming
Absolutely.
out further to the
Yeah.
road.
Not further to the road, just further to that jog, and to maintain the 8-foot.
Now,
Does the road curve then?
Right, I was just gonna
Because
ask
I'm
that.
trying to figure out why the existing deck is okay. It's not.
Existing deck is.
It's also in the,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, I was
The
just gonna ask the
certified
same
foundation
question.
plan was done prior to the deck,
so the deck is
so it's,
non-conforming, I mean, it's in violation of the setback too?
yes.
And the roads are still private roads there, right? Or they, okay,
Yeah. I mean, there could have been any one of things as far as the timing of it.
okay.
It could just simply be before the curbing went in and the final coat of pavement went down. It was built and they went out, from the measurements they had, we really are talking 1 foot, 3 inches.
Wow.
So, again, that's 1 foot is the width of the curbing, so if the road got just slightly moved or just paved slightly over,
Yeah.
it could have been.
That's unfortunate.
Especially when the deck's already there. Wow.
All right. Any other questions from the board?
No, I want to make sure I had a complete, those pictures were great. So,
Next time, send them out. Send them out next time, would you?
Well, I just did it now, and I don't want to send it out until I get permission
yeah.
from the applicant, because they're not his.
I apologize. I usually try to visit all the sites too ahead of time. I apologize. I didn't get to that one.
Well, I went to
See
the
these?
now that I saw the picture, I know exactly where it is. I saw it, I wasn't sure that was even the house, cause I didn't have the right number in my
Well,
paperwork.
when I did the Google, like 17 put me to the clubhouse, and you had to go down, 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 down,
Yeah,
down,
when you
down.
do a Google Drive, it's all messed up.
Right,
on it.
so it wasn't helpful.
Yeah,
anyway.
17 James Way, in many of the plans, is a different building because they changed the numbering scheme from the site plan to the actual home properties. Mr. Blackwell found it very easily.
Any other
He's
questions?
highly educated.
No, he did. He was-
Any other questions from the board?
No, I have no more
Right, I'm going to
questions.
go into the public for public input. Anybody in favor of the application that wish to speak? Anybody in opposition that wish to speak? Ma'am, did you want to at least put your name and address on the record, being in favor? Okay.
So she has to
Okay,
be
so
in
you're the
favor.
applicant. Okay, yep, okay.
And she has to be in favor.
All right, so we did get, as you mentioned, sir, the letter from Ralph Collins, and I am gonna read that into the record. So we do have a letter from Ralph Collins dated April 9th, 2022, addressed to me. The Annandale Condo Association Board of Directors supports the proposed modification of a deck at 17 Jamesway Drive. This decision is based on review of the drawing showing the extension is part of the limited common area in discussions with the town building inspector, Mr. Jeffrey Brackwell, on February 9th, 2022, regarding the setback of the proposed extension to Jamesway Drive curb. During the February 9th meeting, Mr. Blackwell noted that the proposed deck improvement is approximately 12 inches short of the required 25 feet setback distance to Jamesway Drive, and stated that the unit owner will need to apply to the ZBA for a variance. Based on this minimal distance shortfall related to the setback, the Annandale Board has no concerns that the expansion will have any impact on aesthetics of the property, the common area, or the property value of the unit, or the value of abutting units. Therefore, the Annandale Board requests your favorable consideration of the requested variance. If you have any questions on the above, please email or call. Sincerely, Ralph Collins, President of Annandale Condo Association. All right, so I'm gonna have that marked as Exhibit 1. All right, since there's no other public input, anybody wanna make a motion to close public input?
I make a motion to close public input.
Second.
John, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No, 3-0-0, so sir, we're gonna go into our deliberations now.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right. So we'll just go through, any general comments?
Stay.
Any general comments before we start?
Not at all.
All right, so the first one is the variance will not be contrary to the public interest because it's not gonna affect, in my opinion, the health, safety, or welfare of the neighborhood, nor is it going to affect the character of the neighborhood. Everybody agree?
I agree.
I agree.
The spirit of the ordinance will be observed. The spirit is observed because encroachment is minor and there is ample space between the properties. And the purpose of the ordinance is to maintain separation. Anybody have an issue with his response, and are we in agreement?
I
Great.
agree.
All right, number 3, substantial justice is done, because there is no harm done to the general public or to others in the community, including the abutters, and the variance avoids hardship. I agree.
Agreed.
I agree.
4, the values of the surrounding properties are not diminished, because it will be a well-done expansion to the deck and will increase the value to homes and the surrounding properties.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree.
The last one, which is the most tricky one, is for the purposes of this subparagraph, a necessary hardship means that owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, that no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance and provision in the specific application of that provision to the property, and the property use is a reasonable one. Thoughts on that one? So, obviously, this is
On all, yeah.
the most difficult one.
Yep.
So the encroachment was discovered during the surveying of the property, or when was it discovered?
Well, when I went out to look at the expansion.
I mean, chicken and egg thing, I guess, at that point.
What's that?
Chicken and egg, it was already encroaching, and again, I don't believe,
Oh, and, well, right, it has been since
since
the
it was
original,
built.
right.
Right.
Yeah, normally I would ask, when did you purchase the property, did you,
Right.
you know, but I think in this case, it's a continuation, an infill
Right.
up against the house, it's not a proposed extension is the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, if they were trying to come out further, that would maybe a different conversation. They're staying within the boundaries and they're within their frame of their house.
You
so-
just, yeah,
Yeah,
my
I-
view is if you're just expanding the existing deck and it's a minor, you know, I think the unnecessary hardship, I would say it would be unnecessary hardship, that if you're just expanding an existing deck, you're expanding it in towards the house, then I see no reason, why an additional, obviously, we have these setbacks for a reason. And we also have a Board of Adjustment for this very same reason, too. So, so in all parts of that particular, I don't see anything where I would be, object to any of not meeting those criteria where it would be acceptable.
Agreed.
No, and I think the deck is, already existing. He's not encroaching, I mean, he is going out a foot, but it's keeping in line, he's going straight across.
And he's already encroaching, that's the problem.
Right.
His existing deck's already 12 inches over or whatever.
Is it 12, do we know if is it the same?
I mean, I'd have to,
Well, just
I'd have to do it
okay.
right, I'd
So,
have to get,
so,
right.
so let me
I'd
back up on that
actually
statement.
survey
Just
it.
because it was wrong before doesn't make it right.
That's true.
You know,
Correct.
but in this
Correct.
particular case, it's an expansion of something, and if you look at all the different criteria, it doesn't have any.
Right.
It doesn't create it any worse than what it already is, but that's not necessarily an approval point either.
Right.
But, it's within the spirit of, of the ordinance.
Agreed.
So, does anybody want to make a motion? I can make it if nobody wants to.
Make the motion, for a vote?
Yep, so you would make a motion to grant.
Okay.
Variance and site
And
plan.
I would like to make a motion to grant case number, 4/18/22-5, variance from the local zoning ordinance 1025, section 1026, to encroach 1 foot 3 inches into the 25-foot building setback from a private road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that's it. You're all set? Welcome. Welcome.
And thank you for going through the process. Most people wouldn't do that.
And they did the full
Yep.
process with the board, with the Board of Association. So,
Good night.
welcome. Okay. I'll be in touch about the permit.
All right, so next on the agenda is communication and other business. Kevin has submitted his resignation, so we're actually getting short of members again, because Kevin's gone and, Mark is gone, so we're down 2 again, so we'll have Troy try to post and get us some more
That
members.
explains the push for the new volunteering forms we just posted today.
Ah,
So
okay.
there you go.
Yeah, and I'm waiting to hear from Troy, because I don't think we set a training date as of yet, right? From,
No,
Or-
not yet, not that I've heard, but
and,
yes, he is working on that.
and then I did send you folks a link to training that was put out by NHMA. That has some good stuff, so that's always very useful and informative. And I don't have any other communication or business. Anybody else have anything?
Well, last month, I volunteered to become a permanent member, and so I still volunteer if that's the case.
Yes.
A perfect opportunity where we have 2 drop now at this point, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what I will do is I'm gonna send an email to Troy, and Jeff, I'll CC you on, just to keep
Okay.
you in the loop,
Mhm.
asking, and I don't know if that needs to go in front of the Board of Selectmen to have you
It
move up
does.
from an it
It
does,
does.
okay.
Yep.
And it just has to follow with your recommendation, or the board's committee's recommendation that we support the decision of him going on full-time.
So do you support that decision?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go, so I will put that to Troy
Okay.
and, get
It
that.
doesn't matter to
for-
me, because I just get appointed in
Right,
2
but-
seconds, but.
Yeah, and
It's nice
you
to do
also
that.
put the time in already too, so you come in prepared, so it makes sense to bring him on as a full-time.
Absolutely. Any other communication?
So I just have a couple, so we have this whole new process we're working through, and so a couple maybe asks potentially. Communications should get published in the portal before the meeting too, when we have it, if we do have it, obviously, some of it's there, obviously. Like your evidence of the pictures, that should just been in the portal so we can get to it. It's evidence he submitted and it's evidence you
But no,
have.
he didn't submit it. I found this on my own.
It doesn't matter. It's still evidence of what he's asking for, so it should get posted in the portal. It's private, it's only us seeing it at this point. It should be there. And then, is it possible we have our cases to actually have the tax map, not the tax map, but the tax card printed or at least turn the
Sure.
PDF and post it also, because that will give us at least some current pictures also potentially. And, you know, it doesn't stop us from driving around, obviously. I drive through the neighborhood, I feel like, people think I'm stalking them or something like that, but,
Yeah.
that would be helpful. And then obviously we do our own due diligence, I just think that would be helpful.
And are you taking care of posting the minutes when they're approved? Is that you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep, they do.
because I know we still have a,
We're still behind, yes. And that's because you don't allow me to post the drafts.
I don't, you can post drafts. I never said not to post drafts. I would love for you to.
Well, actually, I'll step back. When Rick was here, we weren't posting drafts.
Oh, no, I would want you to post a
Okay.
draft.
Then I will, if I get drafts, I'll post them, because Matt's doing them, right, online? Or is Michelle is still doing them.
Michelle, yeah.
I'm not sure who's
Yes.
doing it anymore.
Michelle,
So as soon as I get a copy from her, I'll post them. And then if they get modified, I'll have to note the modification and take them down. That's not a problem.
No, I think as soon as we have
Yeah.
minutes,
Okay.
they should be posted.
Yeah, I have a note that I'm not supposed to post, and I think it refers back to when Rick was there,
No,
because of the legal ramifications of it and all that stuff.
well, within 5 business days, we should have.
Yeah, that unfortunately doesn't really happen, unfortunately. But the video's out there anyway, so people are gonna see it and say what they want anyway.
Yeah, but
So
no,
I'm not really
I mean,
sure.
we need to have the minutes
That's fine.
ready within 5 business
Yeah,
days.
so assuming I get them, once I get them, they get posted, I go out and post all minutes on Fridays. That's when I go do the search, unless they've been presented to me, they get done then, but if they don't, on Fridays I go for the witch hunt and start looking for them all. So, they're all over the place, but I got them, so. Okay?
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then the meeting is adjourned at 7:27.
Thank you.